All right, well, you are from a border state. Biden's policies aren't even in place yet, but just the idea of them has migrants marching to the border with the hopes of getting in, and it's putting undue pressure on our border states and our communities, as you just heard from the mayor there. During this global pandemic, economic crisis in our country, what challenges is Arizona specifically under because of these policies that people are anticipating coming their way?
Well, first of all, we have a county that made the same kind of plea just the other day that sits right on the border. It's a huge county down on the southern border. And so they have no resources. We have another city on the other side of the state, also right on the border. They're talking about the lack of resources. They say, look, if the feds are going to bring these people in and release them into our communities, which is what happened 2 years ago in the 2019 surge, then the feds should pay for it. But the Biden administration is not going to pay for it. They're just going to continue to release these folks into these communities. So you're going to have just a humanitarian problem in and of itself, because these people don't have the adequate food and clothing and shelter, et cetera. But you're also going to have those who are coming here criminally. And so we're seeing an increase. I just talked to a Border Patrol agent today who told me we're seeing an increase in unaccompanied minors ages 16 and 17. So what that tells me is that we're going to start seeing the MS-13 start coming back into the country. So there's a whole host of problems that are going to happen on the border, but they don't stay on the border, I can tell you. They filter out through the entire country.
Congressman Biggs, without a doubt, if you look at the modern age, if you look at immigration reform, this current bill is the largest and the most radical we have ever seen in America. The Biden White House, even Nancy Pelosi, they don't seem confident that they can get it passed as one package. As a result, it's already being floated that they're going to break it up into several smaller bills. What does that look like, and is that helpful to the GOP or for any rational attempt to try and stop it?
Well, Seb, you're exactly right. They're what I've heard is they're going to float two bills in the next couple of weeks. One will be the DREAM Act, which basically is going to codify the DACA program, which came in through a presidential memo. But they have to expand it because the deadline for that was 8 years ago. So they'll expand it, and that will literally bring in additional millions into the DACA/Dreamer program. And then they also want to do the ag amnesty bill. And that's probably a million or so people that will get amnesty quickly. So they want to do those two standalones. Then they're going to float a series of these other bills to see where they can go. It makes it in some ways harder to pick them all off, but at the same time it allows us to focus on the problems with each individual section of this bill, which is a massive bill.
Yeah. I want to talk to you about one element that's in the current bill that would create a $4 billion investment to Mexico. So the idea here is giving money to Mexico to improve their country so that Mexicans won't be incentivized to come to our country. I mean, how crazy is this, Congressman? In a time, as I mentioned before, when we're in an economic crisis, we're just dishing out money to another country to give them resources so their people won't come here?
Well, that's right, and it won't work. It won't work. I mean, so we have 10 million people unemployed in this country today, and they're going to open up the borders now, and they're going to provide amnesty, green cards automatically to international students who get a STEM degree. All those pull factors are there. It won't matter how much money we give to Mexico. It won't matter how much money we give to the Northern Triangle states. We will still be the pull because we're providing the incentives and pathways to citizenship, jobs, welfare, social welfare programs that we have here, education programs that we have here. So we know it's not going to work, but it's going to sure sound good. They'll think it's going to sound real good. That's what this is about.
Congressman, in the past, we've seen the institutional GOP, the Gang of Eight, get in bed with the American Chamber of Commerce, facilitate open borders and legalization. In the Trump administration, we put a stop to that. What are the tools? If you're in minority now, what can the Republicans specifically do to stop or challenge this insanity?
Well, we have to take advantage of every procedural a piece of sand that we can throw into gears of Congress. Don't forget that Nancy Pelosi and company have given themselves rules, so these don't even really need to go to committee anymore. They're just going to take them straight to the floor. So we have to try to use all the procedural tools that we have to slow it down so the American people can actually catch up to what the Democrats are doing. Don't forget that when the American people found out about the Gang of Eight, that was overwhelmingly rejected by the American people. And then when President Trump ran on border security, America first, let's stop the illegal migration into the country, he won on that issue. He was the only one saying that. It really set him apart, and America's got that. They still, I believe, are in that same mode. So we've got to slow it down so we can get this out there. And I'll just tell you why I know that to be true is because we've had a couple of our Democrat colleagues have said as long ago as 3 weeks ago, they need to do it immediately, right away, quickly, because they don't think that if they wait at all, that they're going to be able to get their desired package through, because the American people will wake up and say no.
Well, Congressman Andy Biggs, thank you for holding Democrats accountable on this immigration bill. We have to stop these things and take care of the American people first.